Bill Bradley cancels campaign stops for heart treatment. Also tonight, an American scientist is accused of mishandling nuclear weapons designs, though no one can prove that's how China got them. It'll be Christmas in Florida for a 6-year-old Cuban refugee as lawyers appeal to block his father's claim. And another day, another record. What's behind the tech tear on the red-hot NASDAQ market?
This is the CBS Evening News, with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. There's late breaking news tonight in the presidential campaign. Democratic presidential hopeful Bill Bradley has interrupted a West Coast campaign swing and is getting hospital treatment for what's called an irregular heartbeat. Bradley is 56. Staffers say his cardiologist calls the condition, and I quote them now, an inconvenience rather than a problem. But it is a heart problem, and Bradley has taken himself off the campaign trail, at least for now. CBS News correspondent Phil Jones has late details. Philip?
Dan, what we know is that Senator Bradley is being treated as an outpatient in a Northern California hospital tonight. His campaign aides say they expect him to rest and then to get on an airplane and fly to Florida tomorrow to resume his campaign schedule. He was in California campaigning today when he decided to get medical treatment. The irregular heartbeat actually started Thursday night, but he wasn't alarmed because he was diagnosed with this condition back in 1996 and has been on medication since then to control it. His doctors are saying tonight, quote, this does not interfere with Senator Bradley's ability to function, and he has no other health problems. Dan?
Phil Jones in Washington. Whether, and if so, how much this will affect Bill Bradley's effort to be the Democratic presidential nominee instead of Vice President Al Gore remains to be seen. A fired U.S. nuclear weapons scientist was arrested today. A 59-count indictment under the Atomic Energy Act stops short of actually charging Wen-Ho Lee with outright spying. It does mark the first criminal charges stemming from the long investigation into accusations that stolen U.S. nuclear weapons secrets were deliberately leaked to communist China. Lee maintains the charges are untrue, and he says they smack of racism. CBS's Cheryl Atkinson first broke the nuclear secret story last March and has the latest tonight.
Lee was arrested today at his New Mexico home and arraigned in Albuquerque. He was fired from his top-secret job last March and named the prime suspect by the government in the theft of design plans for the W-88, America's most sophisticated nuclear warhead. Plans that allegedly ended up in China.
I personally ordered his firing when I found out what he had done. His violations were very serious security breaches.
But some involved in the investigation have claimed Lee is simply a scapegoat for the lab's security problems and was targeted because he's Asian American. Lee admitted to 60 Minutes' Mike Wallace that he moved classified material to an unclassified computer for convenience, but insisted he is no spy.
The truth is I'm innocent. I have not done anything wrong with what they try to accuse me.
Prosecutors insist Lee downloaded stunning amounts of sensitive information, transferred it to computer tapes, and walked out of the lab with it. The indictment falls short of espionage because sources say officials don't have the computer tapes and can't prove Lee gave them to China or anybody else. The Lee camp has been keeping a very low profile. Look for a huge change in that strategy. His lawyers plan to come out swinging and say Lee will enter not guilty pleas on each and every count. Dan?
Cheryl Atkinson. And then there's the espionage case involving the Russian bug, incredibly found inside the U.S. State Department. There is wide belief the person who installed that bug is still at large and is an insider. CBS News national security correspondent David Martin is tracking this spy story.
One of the passengers listed on this evening's Aeroflot flight from Washington to Moscow is Stanislav Gusev, the Russian spy ordered to leave the U.S. Gusev was the outside man who parked his car within line of sight of the State Department and activated a listening device in a 7th-floor conference room used by senior officials. But the FBI is now focused on finding the inside man, the person who planted the bug in the first place.
The device was hidden inside a piece of molding like this. To put it there, someone had to first survey the room, then fabricate an identical piece of molding with the bug built into it, then go back into the room once again with enough tools and enough time to remove the existing molding and replace it with the piece containing the device.
Intelligence officials say it has all the earmarks of an inside job by someone who worked in the State Department and could make the switch without arousing suspicion. If that's the case, a Russian agent could still be at large inside the State Department. But the search for a disloyal employee is complicated by the fact that the FBI doesn't know how long ago the bug was planted. It had enough battery power to have been there for years. In Moscow, Russian television continues to show reruns of last week's arrest of an American diplomat for spying, suggesting the U.S. trumped up the State Department bugging charges in retaliation. The truth is, both sides still spy. U.S. officials say there are as many intelligence officers assigned to the Russian embassy in Washington today as there were during the Cold War. David Martin, CBS News, Washington.
Both sides are digging in for what could be a long struggle in the international custody fight over a 6-year-old Cuban refugee. Fidel Castro is orchestrating daily demonstrations in Cuba to demand that the U.S. return him. But in Florida today, lawyers for the boy countered with a claim that he wants political asylum here. CBS's Jeffrey Kaufman reports from Miami.
There are now 5 lawyers working to keep 6-year-old Elian Gonzalez in the U.S. Today, they went to the INS to buy him and themselves some time.
To protect poor Elian Gonzalez from being forcibly returned to Cuba against his will, and to prevent him from facing future persecution.
Elian was found clinging to an inner tube off the coast of Fort Lauderdale on Thanksgiving Day. His mother died on the perilous escape from Cuba. Since then, he has been living with relatives who want him to stay in Miami, while his father and the Cuban government are demanding his return to Havana. This expert in children's law and immigration says it is going to be hard for Elian's lawyers to prove the boy would be in real danger if he returned to Havana.
My sense is that the attorneys for the family are utilizing legal process in order to delay the inevitable. The inevitable is the return of the child to Cuba.
In the long stalemate between the two countries, Elian has become a symbol. What was a question of parental rights has become so political that even a presidential candidate came to Florida to join the chorus condemning Castro.
I would urge President Clinton to make it clear that under no circumstances that this young boy should be condemned to a life of communist oppression.
Without today's maneuvering, Elian could have been back in Havana by Christmas. The asylum process usually takes 60 days, longer with appeals, which means Elian isn't likely to be leaving anytime soon. Jeffrey Kaufman, CBS News, Miami.
The U.S. Immigration Service says it wants to talk to the boy's father, but the Castro regime is not cooperating. CBS's Byron Pitts in Havana reports tonight that Fidel Castro has put a stop to talks between U.S. officials and the father because the U.S. would not guarantee that the boy would be returned immediately. Still ahead on the Friday CBS Evening News, Nazmataz. The incredible NASDAQ stock market is setting record after record. A dangerous run-in south of the border between U.S. agents and Mexican drug thugs. And we'll show you some of the stars of tomorrow on the internet.
Here's your regular internet homepage, and here's i1.com. It's free. You use it like Yahoo, Excite, or other search engines. Only i1.com gives away $10,000 every day, $1 million a month, and $10 million on tax day. Which one would you choose?
If my friend used this at work secretly and she won, would her boss get the money?
No, your friend would get the money.
That's good to know.
Introducing i1.com. Why wouldn't you?
When we asked some denture wearers why they don't use an adhesive, they didn't have a lot to say. Don't need it.
My dentures fit fine. No problems here.
But after we gave them Fix-A-Dent, they just couldn't say enough.
It's amazing, the difference. It's a great new feeling of security.
Comfort.
Confidence.
I just plain forget I have them.
That's because Fix-A-Dent adjusts to the unique contours of your dentures and gums, forming a thin, powerful seal for a better hold than you ever thought possible.
I could just kick myself for not doing this sooner.
Find out for yourself what it feels like to Fix-A-Dent and forget it.
We take our sight for granted in America, but for many people, it's a luxury. Every year, LensCrafters runs Gift of Sight missions to bring sight to needy people around the world.
We change lives with these glasses.
If you drop them off at LensCrafters, we'll get them to people who need them.
And just the look on their
your face like, wow. Every single pair matters. And the more we collect, the more people we can help.
Please bring us your used glasses today.
On the CBS Market Watch, there are now just 15 trading days left for the stock market this year, and a good year it is. The Dow gained another 89 points today and is ahead 22% for the year. But the big story is NASDAQ, up 26 points today, ahead a whopping 65% on the year. CBS's Anthony Mason has more tonight about the mighty NASDAQ.
The numbers are mind-boggling. Scorching technology stocks sent the NASDAQ to another record high today for the 22nd time in 31 trading days.
How hot is NASDAQ right now?
Smoking. Red hot. It's never been hotter.
Scott Blyer of Prime Charter says some of his clients have never made more money in a 6-week period.
The internet is being viewed, rightly or wrongly, as the next industrial revolution.
For the year, NASDAQ is now up well over 60%. More than half of that has come in the past 8 weeks. And in the past month alone, 167 NASDAQ stocks have doubled in value.
If you were lucky enough to have shares of Free Markets, an industrial products auction site, today the stock jumped 500% in its first day of trading. Those kinds of numbers amaze even the veterans.
No, I mean, it's extreme. I'll concede it's extreme.
But Prudential's Larry Wachtel says there's a method in the madness. It's all about cell phones, computers, and semiconductors.
It's not wild-eyed speculation. It's simply a new development in technology. People are using new stuff, and these stocks reflect that new stuff.
That's one reason Christmas cheer is sweeping Wall Street, where $11 billion in bonus money will be paid out by the end of the year.
At some point, the party will end. It's not over yet.
With all that money to spend, it looks like it's just getting started. Anthony Mason, CBS News, New York.
The government says the wholesale price of home heating oil soared 7.5% in November, just as the winter heating season was starting. But the upward pressure on prices may be easing. Saddam Hussein is expected to start pumping oil into the market again now that the UN has agreed to extend for 6 months Saddam Hussein's Oil for Food program. And the maker of Beanie Babies says production of the popular toys will end December 31st. Next on the CBS Evening News, Mexico's drug thugs using the border roads to get away with murder and threaten U.S. law enforcement.
2 large double cheese.
It's about time. I'm starving.
Whoa, that can't be cable.
It's DirecTV. You get all your favorite cable channels.
Kung Pao.
And it's the only service that gives you access to every pro and college sports subscription.
Donuts.
Plus now, you get 2 free months of 32 premium movie channels, including 7 HBO, 4 Stars, and 5 Showtime channels with no long-term commitments. DirecTV. What are you looking at? Okay, who ate the remote?
The hot flashes got pretty bad. Night sweats were ruining my sleep. Vaginal dryness made intimacy uncomfortable. And I was worried that estrogen loss at menopause could lead to osteoporosis, a long-term health problem. Menopause is complicated. Talking to my doctor helped. For me, she prescribed Prempro. It's relieving my uncomfortable symptoms, and along with calcium and exercise, helping prevent osteoporosis.
Prempro is only for women who have not had a hysterectomy. Prempro is not for every woman. You should not take Prempro if you've had any breast or uterine cancer, abnormal vaginal bleeding, abnormal blood clotting, liver or heart disease, stroke, or if you think or know you are pregnant. Tell your doctor about your personal and family medical history. Side effects include blood clots, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, breast tenderness, irregular bleeding, and headache. For more information, talk to your doctor about Prempro or call.
I'm glad my doctor prescribed Prempro. Now I'm feeling great. For me, it's Prempro.
Yeah, let me get this straight.
Yes.
Are you actually saying I don't have to pay you a separate commission every time I trade a stock?
Exactly.
I'd pay an annual fee instead.
Right.
Is anyone getting this?
We don't pay you a commission every time we trade. What's your motivation?
It's just like always, Ann, your best interest.
Could you just explain it again?
Maybe what it is the fee is based on the value of our portfolios. So when we succeed, they succeed.
Well, you'll have to be patient with us. This is all very new.
Mexico's Attorney General left Washington today after talks with top U.S. law enforcement officials about efforts to do something about Mexico's murderous narcotics traffickers. This follows renewed attention on the fact that Mexico's drug cartels have turned roads into the U.S. into superhighways for their narcotics. Just how brazen they've gotten will be all too clear to you in tonight's report by CBS's Jim Stewart.
U.S. lawmen are calling it the most brazen confrontation they've had yet with the Mexican drug cartel. It occurred last month in downtown Matamoros, Mexico. An FBI and a DEA agent were riding with an informant when they noticed they were being followed. After a pickup truck blocked their path, 15 armed men emerged, several wearing the uniform of the local police, and ordered the agents and informant out of the car. As one of the gunmen leveled an AK-47, the agents flashed their badges and pleaded for their lives. It was only then that the gunman backed off, and the leader of the local drug cartel stepped forward to warn the Americans, "You gringos, this is my territory. You can't control it, so get the hell out of here." Former DEA Director Tom Constantine said U.S. lawmen are still stunned by the event.
But thanks to their courage and really their ingenuity, they were able to extricate themselves from that. But I'll tell you, they were very, very fortunate. The gods were with them that day.
Investigators say it's only the latest in a string of recent brushes with the Mexican gangs who have been growing stronger, wealthier, and meaner. 4 cartels now control much of the Mexican-U.S. border, stretching from Matamoros to Tijuana, while a 5th, based in Guadalajara, funnels in drugs from South America to the rest and beyond. Investigators say the gangs are now the size of small armies. All have hired the protection of Mexican police. All are armed with automatic weapons. Some have used aircraft not only to run drugs, but stalk lawmen. And the Arellano Felix brothers in Tijuana have even threatened to kill U.S. Drug Czar General Barry McCaffrey if he visits Mexico again. McCaffrey will go there anyway in February.
I think the situation is worse than it is or was in the nation of Colombia, which was a very difficult problem for everybody.
And there is this. U.S. lawmen now confirm that the reason they were so sure they'd find bodies last month at those 2 Mexican ranches is because the man who led them there was a Mexican policeman who admits he helped bury some of the victims. Jim Stewart, CBS News, Washington.
A school bus collided with a truck this afternoon in South Texas, and several students are reported injured. The wreck happened on Interstate 35. At least 5 people have been airlifted to hospitals in San Antonio. The local sheriff's department said they couldn't get enough emergency medical units to the scene to take care of all the casualties. Next, the CBS Health Watch, new research that could someday restore sight to the blind. Tonight, we give you a sneak peek.
If you wear dentures, imagine how nervous teaching teenagers could make you feel. What if your dentures slipped? But thanks to the all-day hold of Super Polygrip, those days are over. I think that says a lot about the power of Polygrip.
I went on chemo at the time my oldest daughter was getting married. We had planned everything, the fabric, the design, the whole gown. But when it was time to sew the dress, the chemo, it makes you weak. My whole life I've made clothes for other people, but for my own daughter's wedding, I was too tired to make the dress.
Are you a chemotherapy patient? Ask your doctor about Procrit. Procrit is a natural way to regain red blood cells lost during chemotherapy, and more red blood cells can mean more strength. Procrit is safe and effective. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo. Procrit is for patients with non-myeloid cancers. Call now and learn how Procrit can help you get back the strength you need. Your strength for living.
In life, you take the bitter with the sweet, but I plan to end up with more sweet.
Here's your regular internet homepage. And here's i1.com. You use it like Yahoo, Lycos, or other search engines. Only i1.com gives away $10,000 every day, $1 million a month, and $10 million on tax day. Which one would you choose?
Oh, I see. Someone's supposed to struggle with this, right? So let's bring out the blonde.
Just doing research.
I'll pick the one with all of the cash.
i1.com.
Yeah.
Introducing i1.com. Why wouldn't you?
I am the Scum Buster. I make scum and mildew problems disappear. I make grease and dirt problems go away. If you got a messy situation, believe me, no one's got to know. I'm the Scum Buster. I am built by Black & Decker.
On the CBS Health Watch, new technology is moving the long-sought goal of helping the blind to see again closer to reality. As CBS's Russ Mitchell shows you tonight, seeing is believing.
Harold Churchy went blind decades ago. But recently, the 72-year-old Maryland resident got what was for him an eyeful, a simple letter.
When they shuffled the probes around, I was able to see the H, and I was very, very thankful.
Churchy was part of a study of what doctors believe could be the brightest hope in years for 2 million Americans blind because of damaged retinas. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University are developing a system where a miniature video camera is mounted on a pair of glasses and a computer chip is surgically implanted in the retina. The camera transmits images to the computer chip, which transmits signals to the brain.
When we got one person to see, one single blind person to see a single dot of light, it was the most exciting day of my life.
The procedure gained wide attention when singer Stevie Wonder asked doctors if he could be helped by the system. The answer for now, they don't know. Harold Churchy lost his sight gradually over the years. Now he has hopes that gradually it will come back.
Ultimately, I'm hoping to see my wife and my son, 44 years old, I haven't seen for some time.
The experimental glasses are still years from completion, but so far, doctors see a system that even before it's perfected could help tens of thousands see again. Russ Mitchell, CBS News, New York.
CBS next, countdown to 2000, designing your own TV network on the internet.
In this life, there's just no stopping. No break for a hacking cough. No rest for a raw, sore throat. Aches, fever. But when you're desperate for relief, there is TheraFlu. Fast, powerful, hot liquid therapy. With the first sip of that soothing hot liquid, you feel relief is on the way. Soon your throat is soothed, your cough calmed. Maximum strength TheraFlu. Now in new honey lemon chest congestion and cough. Instant comfort, powerful relief.
Good morning, Mr. Schwab.
Good morning.
Introducing Velocity from Schwab, the new incredibly powerful online trading software system. With the power to place multiple orders at one time, it's fast and smart. And, if you'll pardon the expression, cool.
What are you looking at, cable? Shh, it's just getting good.
3 minutes a week.
Ah, DirecTV. Hey, everybody. This is Jim. Look, DirecTV's got all your favorite cable channels. Plus, now you get 2 free months of 32 premium movie channels, including 7 HBO, 4 Stars, and 5 Showtime channels with no long-term commitment. DirecTV. What are you looking at?
This delicious green bean casserole is not the only way to enjoy French's French fried onions. Even standard spice become a savory side dish.
At the head of his cooking class.
Smile, you've got French's.
Sweeping now, sliding, sweeping and gliding. Here comes River Sweeper.
Swiffer claws use lift and lock pockets to attract and trap dust, hair, and common allergens.
Here comes River Sweeper.
When Swiffer's the one, consider it done.
From the people who brought you the television ratings, now come the internet ratings. And here are the ratings for the current season, the holiday shopping season. Since November 1st, showing the biggest gain in viewers or visitors or websites featuring electronics, followed by toys, gifts, clothing, and then books, music, and videos. We're a hard news outfit, but it's Friday, and we thought you might be interested in this. The internet may well be the television of tomorrow, and tomorrow is just about here. With 21 days left in the year, CBS's John Blackstone takes you inside the new world of internet entertainment on the countdown to 2000.
Everything you're about to see is completely live, unrehearsed, and...
At Mondo Media, there's a room full of artists racing to grab a piece of the future, making animated shows not for the movies or TV, but for the internet.
How many animators you have?
There are currently 60 people in the company. We make entertainment, and we looked at the internet and said, you know, that's obviously a way to get a piece of content in front of a global audience instantly.
So already on the internet, Skeeter Dubois can be seen around the world. An animated teenager with attitude, hosting his own interview show.
Today our lead interview is with like Saddam Hussein, who's like Prime Minister of Iraq or something.
point is to get the character out and have everybody see him and love him, and then they'll want to see more.
Andy Murdoch is hoping his creation, Rocket Pants, will become one of the first internet stars of the 21st century. Just a couple of years ago, that would have been an impossible dream.
There was a time that maybe Walt Disney and a couple of other folks had control over what characters were created and we came to see.
Mm-hmm. But now it could be just any old fella out there with a computer and some spare time.
Whoa. There we go. Ready, take two. By providing an alternative to movie studios and TV networks, the internet of the 21st century will move beyond email and e-commerce to perhaps the biggest E of all, entertainment. As a temple of live entertainment, San Francisco's Fillmore Auditorium is as legendary as the bands that have played here. But now, Apple Computer is using the Fillmore to demonstrate entertainment live online.
They just dial up, click on a button, and get to watch it, free of charge.
The technology can't compete with television yet, but the internet of the 21st century will do what TV does and more, says Apple's Frank Casanova.
You'll be able to experience it, you'll be able to hear it, and the latest technology is you'll be able to smell it. The future is going to be very, very cool.
In a San Francisco Victorian, a handful of people and a few computers are putting 24 channels of uninterrupted music on the internet. Endless variety may be the future of radio in the 21st century.
The whole idea of internet radio is that it's wide open and that you can share all this music that normally people are not hearing.
At Greenwich Radio, as at Mondo Media, the internet is seen as a vast new stage, a place where artists of all kinds will be able to show off their creativity to the widest possible audience. For good or bad, in the 21st century, the internet will be able to catapult almost anyone to fame. Skeeter?
Eddie Wood. I'm not just Eddie Wood. I'm the future, TV boy.
This is John Blackstone, CBS News, on the countdown to 2000.
And this is Skeeter Dubois reporting for LikeNews.com. Back to you, Dan.
That's all, folks. Like the man said, the future is going to be very, very cool. Bob Schief will be along Sunday morning with Face the Nation. As for 60 Minutes Sunday night, here's a preview.
The Pentagon doesn't want to talk about it, but 60 Minutes does. Gays in the military. Don't ask, don't tell. Sunday. Also, did we leave behind an environmental disaster when we pulled out of Vietnam? And if we did, is it our responsibility to do something about it?
For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. See you again Monday. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
Welcome to Walnut, a town that shows what America will look like in the 21st century. A rainbow of races living and working together.
What happens if there's no real majority, if we're all minorities?
Take a tour with Ed Bradley to see a future that